Hello, welcome back. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. And if it's your first time to see this face, my name is Vinyaga. Kindly consider subscribing and join the family. And I'm now also a creator on Facebook. You can also follow me on Facebook. Without so much talking, I'm going straight to today's video. These were some of my first impressions of Sweden, and some of these things also shocked me about Sweden. As I continue and as I tell you what were my first impressions of Sweden and what shocked me, I just want to let you know that I came from a village in Kenya. I came to Sweden in autumn. Autumn is the season after summer and before winter. The first thing that I noticed, the leaves of the trees had changed color. Some were red, some were yellow, and some were orange. Wow, I have to say, it was beautiful. It was breathtaking. I mean, I had never experienced autumn. Where I come from, we don't have the 4 seasons of the year. So it was my first time ever to experience autumn. In this video, I will be comparing Sweden to my home country, Kenya, so that you can be able to understand where I came from and why I was shocked by some of the things that I found in Sweden. And maybe some of these things are not shocking to you, but they were shocking to me, considering where I was coming from. As time went by, I began to notice that it was getting dark quite early, and it was also getting cold and colder as days went by. For those who don't know, Sweden has a very big difference when it comes to daylight hours. Unlike where I come from, my country lies along the equator. So we have 12 hours of daylight and we have 12 hours of night time. And in the beginning, by 5 p.m. it was dark. And as days went by, it would get dark by 4 p.m. and then by 3 p.m. And at the same time, it was getting more and more colder. And by December, it would get dark by 2 p.m. December is the darkest month in Sweden. We see daylight 8:30 a.m. in the morning, and by 2 p.m. it's dark again. And on top of that, there is usually no sun. I didn't worry so much about the cold, because when it comes to the cold, you can dress very warm clothes. But when it comes to darkness, that is the worst part. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing at all. And that is something that shocked me. I didn't know this country was like that, I have to admit. Okay, I go to my next impression of Sweden. It's that Sweden is a very clean country. That is one of the first things that caught my eye, is how clean this country is. There's no litter around here. I came during autumn season, and you know, when these leaves change color, the next thing they do is that they drop off, they fall off. And I remember seeing people, some guys coming with some machines for sweeping, and they were sweeping off these leaves, the leaves that are falling from the trees, and they would leave the place spotless. Sweden is a clean country. In Sweden, we don't boil water. We drink water direct from the tap. And there's no water filter and there's no water purifier. I never thought there were some places that were this clean. I lived in Nairobi, Eastlands, in Donholm. So the next impression of Sweden is that something else that caught my eye was the fact that the people from Sweden are very beautiful. I mean, both men and women. Men are tall, blonde with blue eyes, and same with women, very beautiful Swedish women. Something else about the people from Sweden is that they are very quiet. They don't talk so much. They try to avoid interactions. In fact, we don't have small talks in Sweden, no. They are also very polite. They just like to mind their own business and stay out of trouble as much as possible. I go to my next impression of Sweden. In fact, this one shocked me about Sweden. Over 90% of the people from Sweden don't believe in God, don't acknowledge that there is God. This shocked me. I don't know, I was not so much exposed. I had not traveled before, but I did know that there were some societies that did not acknowledge God. And I remember When someone would tell me they don't believe in God, I would be afraid. I didn't feel safe. I felt like this is someone that is full of evil. They can do anything to you. But now, as time went by, it was sinking into me, and I remember I was speaking and asking as many people as possible, especially from Africa. And even when you go to church, the highest number of members who attend church are from Africa or from other countries. Swedish people are extremely low when it comes to attending church. They go to church on 3 occasions: burials, weddings, and baptism. It's funny because when you walk around this country, you see huge church buildings. And these churches, when you see around, they are very old. So this was not the case in the beginning. This is something that has changed over the years. I come from a family that has very strong Christian values. I grew up in church. And I never knew there was such kind of a society. Okay, my next point of the first impression of Sweden. This one was also among the first things that caught my eye, is the nature in Sweden. Sweden has a very beautiful nature. So many trees, and there's almost water everywhere. 63% of Sweden is forest, and we have like thousands of lakes in Sweden. In fact, where I am right now, I'm in Stockholm city, the capital here. The capital of Sweden sits on 14 islands, and they are connected to each other by 50 bridges. So you can imagine how much water we have. A few meters from here, you find water. There's like water almost everywhere. This was something that is very unique about Sweden and about Stockholm, the capital city. And also something I didn't know is that the bridges in Stockholm open up for the ship to pass beneath. And I remember seeing my first bridge opening. I saw a road standing in front of us. And I was asking what's going on, and the person I was asking, they were telling me it's the ship that is passing. And I remember asking me, you don't have this in Kenya? And I was like, are you crazy? You crazy? And I took my phone and I was recording, and it was magical. And I remember I was sending it to my brothers, to my mom, to my cousins back in Kenya, and I wanted them to see that there was a road that was standing in front of me, and as it was standing and as it was going down. That is something that I didn't know. You know, as I said earlier, I came from a village in Kenya. I was not exposed at all. Something else maybe you don't know about this country is that people here don't use cash. People here use cards. You might go to so many stores here in Stockholm or anywhere in Sweden, and you want to buy something and you have cash, and they will tell you, no, sorry, we don't take cash, we only take cards. But there are some few stores that take cash. But this is also something that was now also new to me. The other thing that caught my eye when I came to Sweden is the number of Volvos on the roads. For those who don't know, Volvo is a Swedish brand. There are so many Volvos on the roads in Sweden. And something else I also noticed when I came to Sweden is that, and now I know, is that most people, especially here in Stockholm, they ride bicycles to work. People with very high and well-paying jobs, they ride bicycles, they ride scooters to work. Where I come from, and I start to be corrected on this one, bicycles are associated with being poor. But when you come here, it's not the case. That is something also that was new to me. The last point I want to talk about today that shocked me about Sweden and Stockholm is how much people smoke in this country. Like, there are so many people who smoke in Sweden. Okay, where I come from, I have to keep on referring to where I come from. Where I come from, men smoke, young men also smoke, but you cannot see a woman smoking or a young girl smoking. And if they do, they hide. They don't want anyone to know that they smoke. For an African woman to smoke, it is usually seen as a bad character. In Sweden, you'll find that the son is smoking, his mom, his dad, and his grandparents, they are all smoking. The whole family is smoking. Everyone is smoking. Even his sister is smoking. That is something that also shocked me. They smoke in public. This is now the end of today's video. Thank you so much for being with me in today's video. I appreciate so much. Search for my name on Facebook, Vinyaga, and follow me also on Facebook.